Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam!
Oh, light the beam indeed. Light it bright. After missing Monday's episode, we've got a lot of catching up to do. You are tuned in, as you already know, to the Sports Cave with Biggest Puma. Broadcasting live here on the north side, the greater north side of San Antonio, not to be too specific so LG doesn't get freaked out. I am your host, Sam Freas, back in the room after all of us missed Monday. We'll talk about that here in a minute. I have a very good explanation. Well, I'll let you be the judge of whether it's good or not. That scoffing you hear from across the table is, of course, the Cap back with me.
Hey, man, I'm out of breath over there. That game was intense.
Yeah, we're recording this. Literally, LG's yelling in the other room. 3 minutes, and we're like, well, there's 3 minutes left in stoppage time.
We can make it.
We should be fine. And then LG yells 1 minute, and then there's 30 seconds left in stoppage time. And then we've got some American players trying to time waste. So we were literally putting the headphones on as LG was giving us the 10-second countdown. Speaking of countdowns, we've got to do a new countdown because our last one was 40 days until the NBA draft.
Oh, okay.
Well, obviously now the NBA draft has come and passed.
All right, bring it on.
How about 19 days till your Dallas Cowboys report to Oxnard?
Oh, the Hall of Fame game.
July 21st, Cowboys report to training camp out in California.
You got to win more than 2 playoff games to get in the Hall of Fame game in the last 2 decades.
Dude, they were in it like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to win the game.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
You got to win
the
game.
Okay, if the Cowboys aren't enough to entice you,
to win the game.
How about I tell you, it is National Wildland Firefighter Day.
Oh, God.
Established in 2022.
All right.
It's also
praise to firefighters.
Wildland Firefighter Week of Remembrance. Started June 30th through July 6th. Or as us who really remember our wildland firefighters call it NWFFD.
NWFFD.
What?
National Wildland Firefighter Day.
Oh, okay, all right.
So happy NWFFD to all those that celebrate. If I can hear the drops, that means I'm pretty confident we have a stable connection with LG. How are we doing in the other room, LG?
We are doing just fine.
Are you happy?
Yes, fine.
Is the stress level
look
low?
How slimming that looks.
Has the stress level lowered since you were yelling 3 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds at us?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay,
it's
good.
Fine.
I could tell we were pushing the limits of LG's anxiety.
You can tell how much he cares about the game. He was like, yeah.
Well, when I walked in, he was watching watching
the Cubbies, baby.
Yeah, it was Cubs, whatever was on ESPN. Yeah, so I hijacked the TV immediately and told him this is July 4th week. We're supporting our great Patriots, like Diego Luna.
Yeah,
the most American of all of us. LG, man. While we have a good connection.
Isn't Diego Luna an actor?
I think it's both. Yeah,
he's from Andor. He's the star of Andor, isn't he?
Yeah, he's also the star of the Gold Cup right now for the U.S. men's national team as he had 2 goals earlier tonight. LG, while we have a good connection, tell the good people how they can help support and promote this whole operation.
You can help support us by going to buymeacoffee.com/sportscavelive and leaving a tip. I appreciate all the people who have done so already. We're on our way to some new microphones. We're maybe about 1/100th of the way there, but we're on our way. It's
still
a
counts.
start.
It still counts.
Yeah.
I will say I found us a sweet deal for our studio, a 55-inch TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. My old neighborhood.
Yeah, I had to give up the studio TV, and my brother gave that to me a few years ago, and his TV just went out, so he came and reclaimed it.
Wow, that's. Can we still call that? Is it PC or is it? I guess Trump's president now. We can say whatever the hell.
Native American giving.
Yeah, he's an Indian giver. Yeah, he's an Indian giver.
It's when you say feathers, not dots.
He's Aboriginal. He's an Aboriginal reclaimer.
I think we can get away
with
that. That was mine.
Well, you can also help us out by, excuse me, you can also help us out by hitting that subscribe button because we're narrowing on 400 and we need to hit 500 pretty soon.
Yeah, I saw we picked up a good handful after our NBA Draft-a-Palooza.
Yeah, you're moving on up pretty fast.
We're getting there. Like you said, we're sitting about, last time I looked, we're sitting about 10 short of 400, but we really need to get to 500. And I will continue to reemphasize, it's absolutely free. It costs you nothing. If you have a YouTube account, just go to at Sports Cave Live. Give us a follow there. Give us a subscriber.
Have you noticed?
If you don't have an account, though, it's absolutely free. So just get a YouTube account with your Gmail. Just give us, if we're the only thing you subscribe to, please.
Yes, and there's a lot of bartenders out there. That's the only thing they subscribe to. But
that's spectacular.
We have made it. YouTube has made it easier. We are the first Sports Cave Live.
Oh,
we've jumped up to the top.
Okay,
there was one before us, and now we've gone one up.
Well, let's hope that one before us doesn't have any trademarks. Or I guess they're not with Biggest Puma, so that's where we're fine. This is like the Vanilla Ice Queen situation. Like, no. They did dun 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 da da dun dun. I did dun dun dun. The dun-dun.
Yeah, you see that half a pause?
You hear the difference?
Half a pause there.
Yeah, they don't have a Biggest Puma, so I think we're fine. Yeah, no, that's the roommate will be happy to know because she's been pushing me to try to focus more on our make things more SEO friendly and try to
be more online friendly, man.
Yeah, get picked up by more of the algorithm. So it's good to know that at least some of this is paying off. You know, since you brought that up, that is something to celebrate. I should also mention, as we start, what is this, month 4 now? We did April, May, June. Yeah, starting the 4th month here. June's numbers were our best month yet.
Hey!
So that shows that we are, as the consultants in the industry like to call it, we've got some traction. We've got some traction, and now we need to focus on and rolling that into momentum.
Yeah, we got some friction. We
got a lot of friction.
You know, a lot of friction. Got to bring that heat. Got to just, I don't know where I'm going from here.
That's spectacular. That's where we rely on you listeners to help us get that momentum rolling as we now officially have traction. Help us get through July because let's do some housekeeping here before we jump into. We got a weekend recap since we missed Monday. We got some weekend sports with Cap, of course, the Yankee Minute. Main segment, this might, barring any crazy trade, this might be the last night. We're talking NBA in the main segment for a few months. And then, of course, we'll close out with the lightning round, including a certain Netflix trailer that dropped.
Oh, is it a squirmy little fishy thing?
Well, it involves the newest countdown. We're 19 days till Cowboys report to Oxnard.
Oh my God!
And
that's on Netflix now.
Well, it's the Cowboys documentary they have rolling out, the Jerry Jones approved, and I wasn't excited for it. We'll talk about it to close the show. I wasn't excited, but I'm slightly.
You got half a chub.
I'm not 6 to midnight. I'd say it's more like 6 to 8.
It's got life.
It's starting. It's starting.
All right, that's enough of.
But we'll talk about that as we close out.
Smiles and glory holes.
Let's do. You're damn right, Jerry. Let's do some housekeeping here. So we talked about we've as we've been going through the first 3 months here, we've talked about how this is like a soft opening of a restaurant, and we've had our friends and family day, we've had our select public small dining room night to try to see how things were going to flow, and now that the roommate is officially done with grad school, which also means she's out of excuses, but she is happy, more than happy and excited. No, I throw her under the bus. It's really been...
How many times you use that excuse?
1,000, buddy. It's been...
You have no excuses.
I'm upset. I no longer have it in my arsenal. I can't say oh man, I'm sorry, y'all. Steph's got a grad school paper she's got to write. We're not going to be able to go
no.
to Sunday Fun Day at the bar and get wasted. No,
I see where you're going with it. I was going more of a pizza type situation.
I could see where you were too. That's why it was a slight. It was a slight shift. Yeah, we are ready to announce starting next week. You can expect to get Monday nights live, Wednesday nights live, like we have been doing, and then a third episode Friday featuring the roommate, which also means it will feature the return of Who Won the Internet. So if you missed any of that in the first iteration, it'll be fun. I always enjoy when, her and I think we spend more time together than most couples to begin with because we're both half the time.
You can put up with each other.
Yeah, we're chill enough to, we're chill enough to coexist in the same room more than, which is not.
I was in that 90th percentile where it's like, hey, when I go away for a while and then come back, we've never been closer.
That's nice. There's a yin and a yang to everything. So it's always interesting to me specifically to see, what crosses her timeline versus what crosses mine. Because, right now, my timeline is all, NBA free agency, NFL offseason stuff, politics, of course, and a lot of, Diddy trial content. So I'm curious. Hers is usually quite different from mine, which is why Who Won the Internet is fun. We both bring two topics each, and then we debate the merits. You got a free R. Kelly now, man. I'm just saying. Well, there's until Gary Glitter gets out, I think they're all on hold. But yeah, no. Who Won the Internet returning Friday? Super excited. We she has her own mic that we are picking up tomorrow. Like there has been, and that didn't come from, just so y'all, that didn't come from these funds.
Yeah.
That was.
I don't think you could have bought it with these funds.
Not yet. No, I made her make an upfront investment. If she wanted to do the segment, you got to buy a microphone. So. All jokes aside, we will be back starting Friday with Who Won the Internet, and then next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as we gear up for the football season coming in the fall. So help us get through July.
Yep. We you got a lot of things planned. I'm excited to get into the divisional. Who's going to win the divisions, who do I think is good, and then they just totally be wrong then by the end of the year.
Good reminder. As part of that, starting Monday, we're going to start our NFL division previews.
Nice.
So that's why I say the main segment, I think, is about to just become our NFL divisional previews through July as we gear up.
They won't have enough like
training
OTAs and training camp.
Exactly. And, of course, if LeBron gets traded, that throws the run sheet out the window and we start all over. But
that news is going to get broken on like the opening day of football.
Just to try LeBron trying to steal the spotlight. Yeah, that wouldn't. We're going to talk a little LeBron because some interesting media plays he's been attempting this week. But as I said, we got to start with a little weekend recap since we missed Monday. And what time was it when I texted y'all on Monday and said, yeah, we're not going to be able to do a show?
That was a nooner.
That was about, that was a nooner. That was about the point I realized that I was in deeper trouble than I initially realized. So peel back the curtain quite a bit here. The roommate was in Lubbock. She left for Lubbock Friday morning and didn't get back till Tuesday night, last night.
Yeah.
And so, she took the car. I still have my car, the boss. And so I'm thinking,
is that even running?
Buddy, just wait. I'm thinking, this will be fine. This will be great. Like, I just
watch a YouTube video.
Haven't driven my car in a while. And, I know that there were a couple. I've got all the parts. I just hadn't done it yet. There's I got to change some injectors, but that's nothing big. I can do this. This won't be an issue. So Saturday morning, with the assistance of my neighbor from across the street, Jose.
Oh, man.
Who right now looks like he's got a used car lot going in his front yard. So
that's always a good sign.
That's a great sign. Yeah. It's a great sign. Temporary.
This will get done fast.
Yeah, temporary income never catches up to you. No. all I needed was someone basically like, like when you used to work with your dad on cars, like just hold the light or just hold the part or just, hand me something when I need it as I'm all hunkered.
You didn't let
over.
Jose take the reins?
Again, I thought I was the dad in this scenario. I thought I was the one that actually knew what they were doing.
I think you made a mistake.
Well, judging by the fact that I texted y'all at noon on Monday saying, yeah, it's not going to happen. So I tore it apart Saturday, quickly realized there was more to be done than initially thought, but pride wouldn't let me contact.
What part were you on?
So I've got to replace some injectors. That's the main thing. Yeah. That's the main thing. But once I got in there, I realized like I might have a leaking valve.
Oh, you got to replace the gasket.
Exactty.
For all you girls out there,
I got to take.
That's the rubber thing around the seal. It creates the seal.
Yeah, I think I've got a leak. Looks like a leaking gasket, which I didn't have that. So then I'm scrambling to try to find that. Long story short, I still thought at the end of day Saturday when we called it a night, I still thought I would get it put together on Sunday.
We're on Saturdays. Now we're on Sunday.
Now we're moving into Sunday. So Sunday starts.
Not looking good.
I got the gasket. So now I'm feeling like I have all the parts. Then, long story short, the more I took off of the thing to fix what I needed to, the more I realized there's bigger issues here at play. And granted, you asked me, I hadn't drove the thing for about 6 months.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah, and so even all day Sunday, I kind of started feeling like, okay, I might be in a little bit of trouble here. there might be. It's like a fisherman on a boat in the Gulf where you can see a storm moving through, and you're like, no, that's going west.
Yeah,
that's going past me. Like I'll be fine. And then like 30 minutes later, you're like, yeah, I might be in a bit of trouble.
It's coming right at
It's coming right at me.
I was out on my boat during COVID. Great COVID buy, of course. Now we have no.
You
lake.
bought a boat during COVID? That's
me and a buddy.
Oh, that's spectacular.
Me and a buddy. It was a fun summer, man.
Sure, it was great.
It broke down as a storm's coming with extreme lightning, and we're like three of us stuck out there, way far away from where the ramp was, and I was just like, uh-oh.
I love having a friend with a boat.
Well, see, my friend's a mechanic.
I wouldn't. Well, see.
So it was good because I was like, if anything goes wrong, he knows how to fix it. But like, he's on the water, he's in the back. He's like, I gotta get underneath this thing, and I'm like, you got scuba gear?
Yeah, it's not like it's like putting a car on a lift. Yeah. Like you got to have a boat up to work on stuff. That makes sense.
And that storm was coming in.
Yeah, you're too late for that. So Sunday, I still wasn't ready to swallow my pride and fully give up. So I had Jose back over again. And yeah, we were watching a few YouTube videos to try to make sure before I took something off, if I could actually do it. So I took more stuff off. Come Monday morning.
Half your car's in the lot. In the parking, garage.
Half of it's in my living room right now because I didn't want to leave it outside. I just shut the hood. So you can't steal it now, at least. So I'm not worried about that unless you have a car hauler.
I was like, who's going to steal car parts in your front yard? And I forget I live on the north side. All right, but
I'm just saying, we'll talk about it in the lightning round. There's been some murdering on the north side.
We got that. I'm
kind of happy where I'm at, to be honest. No, so Sunday, I make one more honest run at it, realize, that I'm not going to be able to do this. So Monday, woke up, spent about 2 hours physically swallowing my pride before I called my brother-in-law, Steph's, the roommate's brother. Who
come and fix it. How long did it take him?
He came and put it back together, but then told me you might want to take it to a shop because now it's starting.
It's critical.
Starting next week because it's 4th of July weekend, so I didn't want to load up, take it to a shop, and then it just sit there because they're not working this weekend because of the holiday. So I'm taking it start of next week.
Are you comfortable telling the listeners what kind of car it is?
Yeah, I think most of them that listened before saw video of it even a few times. It's a Boss 302 Mustang. Yeah.
1990.
No, 2012. 2012. But it's getting, dude. Turns out 2012 was 13 years ago.
Yeah,
it feels
that's
like
not bad. I thought it was in like the early 2000s and stuff.
No. The one I had before was an 05, and to be honest, it was better put together than this one is. But I think it also might be. I drive this one quite a bit harder. So had the brother-in-law come over Monday, and once he got there and kind of was walking me through some stuff, that was the point I texted y'all and said, "Yeah, ain't gonna happen. We're not doing a Monday show."
That's good because I've been battling some like walking pneumonia, man, just wheezing like. Oh,
why are you telling me this now?
No, it's not contagious, man. And I'm on antibiotics. Are we sure of that? Yeah, pneumonia is not contagious. You have to get sick, and then your lungs fill with fluid, and you can't breathe, and therefore.
But is there not an initial sickness that makes your lungs? Yeah,
there's an initial viral, but that was like, man, I've had this for like 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. Oh, this was what you were battling when you missed. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right.
It's the same thing, man.
Well, I went on a quiet.
It was from allergies. The snot was never green, dude. It's not taking your turn. Yeah, it's not buying you a beer.
That's a great sick reference, bro. That is. As long as it was clear, I'm fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's clear.
All right. Yeah. So
maybe.
Yeah. There's the confidence I appreciate. So in between tearing my car apart, obviously with the roommate in Lubbock, I had 5. I can't remember the last time that either her or I were on a 5-day trip away. Like, it's been a while. Like, when she goes on work trips.
That's a full-on vacation.
Yeah, work trips are usually like 2-3 days at the most, a Monday through Thursday, but.
You don't even have to get unpacked. You don't use the drawer and the.
No.
Like most everything's in the suitcase.
In and out, right back into the suitcase.
2 pairs of chones, 2 shirts.
2.
Oh, you man, no,
yeah,
none.
Save some space, baby.
Save some space.
No, I spent most of the time without her. Watched a lot of the Glastonbury. Either of y'all familiar with Glastonbury?
No.
I thought LG might be.
That sounds old.
Because he's a global soul.
How about no?
Okay, Glastonbury is the giant music festival in England.
Oh yeah,
it's their like Coachella.
No time for that.
Yeah, no. So I was watching a lot of. Had some controversy.
I think I saw some stuff like the drone. I think I saw like the drone.
The drone show they were doing. Yeah.
Yeah, like I like the performances, but like the.
I don't take you as a music festival guy to begin with. Yeah, well.
Take that and loop it for about 30 more minutes.
And that
you're
set
shoot me in the head.
And that set by Fortet was amazing. He was great. He played an 11-minute mix of Opus. It was beautiful. It was spectacular. Fortet, legend, living legend. So I watched a lot of Glastonbury coverage. Fell down a lot of random YouTube wormholes. Have y'all seen the videos where it's like stick figures explaining stuff? And there's like eight different topics, and it's all stick figures, and it looks like old
flip book.
What's a Homestar Runner? It looks like old like early animation, or like The End of the World, like late 90s
liquid television type stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was like one of them I watched was a 2-part video. It was how every dictator rose to power. I was curious on that one. That one was good. It was pretty interesting.
Someone watched that after watching his quad box.
Okay, so Saturday, it was either Saturday or no, it was Sunday. Sunday, I had an insanely good quad box going.
Oh,
man. We had
it was a good one on Sunday.
X Games 30th anniversary. X Games in Salt Lake City. First triple backflip ever landed in competition. Australian Ryan Williams, the Nitro Circus kid, landed that. BMX on dirt. triple backflip.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like, I've seen that on Nitro when they do the big jump.
Right,
Yeah.
but so he's done it a few times at Nitro Circus events, but had never done it in a competition. Or the giant mega ramp they have.
I think when they took out the fact that you could lose your life when it's just hard packed dirt.
Yeah,
instead of putting that little rubber thing down.
There were a few dudes that ate dirt pretty hard in that BMX best trick final, but had the quad box of X Games going, had the Gold Cup going, had the golf going, which turned out to be pretty fun. A 5-hole playoff.
Yeah.
And then of course I had my news on the fourth quad box. There's a lot, dude. We had both sides or both houses, the House and the Senate, debating past midnight all weekend.
All night.
It was a C-SPAN wet dream over here, which was great because the roommate was out of town, so she would text me at like 1 a.m. She's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "I'm watching the Senate debate the budget bill."
So I'll tell you, I tried to put on the quad box of news to see the old Puma experience, and I found out that the news puts me to sleep pretty good at night. So whenever I wake up during the middle of the night, taking the old man pee, I'll just pop on some of that news and it puts me right back to sleep, man.
Yeah, so I used to fall asleep to it. Oh my God, I was trying to figure out what the hell that was.
We got a leak.
I used to leave the news on when we would go to sleep or when we would leave the house.
Yeah.
And our old how long is this drop? Good God.
Had to flush.
It's like Austin Powers when he's being defrosted. Yeah. Good Lord. No, when I used to leave the news on for our old pug Leroy, but the roommate would literally tell me, like, "You're depressing the shit out of this dog." Like, I can see it when we come home. He's just so sad about the estate of the world right now.
Leroy aged in 2 years, like 2 years in a couple months.
Just from watching a quad box of news by himself every time we would leave the house or fall asleep.
He snuggles up to you real tight.
Yeah, it's something else unfortunate, and this usually seems to happen. As soon as Steph left the house, literally every AAA battery under our roof died. So I was doing the old, like it was like I was a kid again, and I was the channel changer. I was having to walk over. The Roku remote uses AA, so I was fine there.
I was about to say, when did the AAA take over the AA?
So it's the AAA is for all of like my receiver, like all the sound stuff.
I think we all got remotes.
Yeah.
We all familiar with it.
But what? I thought they were all still AA. I didn't realize
it's switched. They're all AAA.
Yeah, see, I didn't realize
you
that.
need more AAAs than AAs nowadays.
I've got 20 good AAs in the house.
That's for your gaming remote, right?
Didn't realize.
Yep.
Didn't realize I had 0 AAA available. So
I had a kid.
The struggle was real.
The kid, I know where the AAs went, but the AAAs was for us, But I'm like, how are we down a full pack of AAs again? I'm like, you're going to have to start buying these yourself.
This might be one of the dumbest things I've ever said, but I didn't realize how expensive batteries were either.
Not cheap. They're not cheap.
Not good. Not good.
Because you got to stock up on the holiday deals, like Amazon deal
that's
day.
smart.
Man,
just load up.
Get you a 48 pack.
So I got so lazy and desperate, I almost favor delivered some AAA batteries to the house. Because remember, my car was torn apart, so I can't just go get batteries.
Just so
you got to get yourself some quality rechargeables, man.
So we have those.
There it is.
I hear it. We have those. We have those, LG. That's what we use the AAs. They're
Quality
all rechargeable.
and rechargeable do not go together.
Yes, they do.
For batteries.
They're better now.
Get yourself some Panasonic Any Loops. Or the IKEA
Panasonic better be paying us for this.
Oh no, they're
IKEAs
quality.
are good.
The IKEAs are a duplicate of the Panasonic.
So it's like the Sam's Club selling.
It's like the Kirkland joggers or like Lululemon suing Kirkland right now because they're copying their joggers and their pants.
I thought those were always pre.
I thought it was too, but apparently this is just like breaking news a couple days ago.
Breaking news in the world of batteries.
We need a sound.
No,
it's
I'm
in
serious.
the world of Lululemon.
Lululemon
That's even worse.
They're suing Costco because Costco's been duplicating their jackets, joggers, and men's pants.
Men's pants?
Yeah, the men's.
What is that like?
Tech pants.
The crotchal region?
No, they're starting to make
lift
like
the butt?
they're starting to make like loose fitting like workout. They look like little like soccer shorts.
They're like tech. They call them tech pants.
Oh,
There
so
you
they
go.
got like the tight pants
Action
underneath,
pants.
and then the basketball shorts over. Yeah,
Some.
I've seen those
Not
losers
like
wearing it.
Not like that at all, but some. Let's go with some.
Get yourself some rechargeables. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I didn't-
quality rechargeables are worth the money.
I need to.
Puma's quote of the week: get you some rechargeables.
Yeah, that'll be what the chat GP Tizzle gives us as
Oh,
the
that's
member
where you gotta
Especially
quote.
for remote controls.
Don't listen
man.
to
You just
AI.
need a whole jar of rechargeables.
Don't listen to AI.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be on the lookout for some rechargeable AAAs because all of our AAs are rechargeable and they work fine, but AAA is a different story. Possibly the worst decision I made all weekend was not tearing my car apart. It was so. I mentioned that triple backflip at the X Games. I might have gotten a little motivated,
Oh, you brought out the old BMX,
buddy.
Oh, buddy.
I busted out my 24-inch Haro and took it to I've got a bike shop in my neighborhood now because, of course, the East Side's gentrifying. We have a bike shop now and a retro video game shop all in one.
Oh, buddy.
Great dudes. They were nice.
Actually, I know that shop. That's
Yeah,
very
it's a good spot right next to the tattoo spot over there. So took the bike down there, got them to give it a little, like refresh. What do you call it? Like a tune. Tune up. Yeah.
A little greasy.
Yeah, you just kind of, get some grease in because it was making a little noise. It hadn't been ridden in about 7-8 years or so. It'd been a while, but it was all still perfectly fine. So I took it down there, got it aired up. It's something else because, of course, gentrification. Something else that's new to the neighborhood, we have a really badass skate park.
Oh, my God. So,
Buddy.
give us what we want to hear.
Let's just say, one, I'm way more out of shape than I realized.
You're sounding like me walking to do my clothes.
Also, combined with that was after I dropped in one time and just rode the pool without doing anything, and then I was like, oh my God.
You don't even have to pedal.
So that's the thing I forgot. And this is going to be really stupid, but I forgot how much it takes out of me pumping on that little. Because I mean, it's not a 20-inch. It's not a tiny BMX bike. It's a 24-inch. It's more. So it fits me better, but it's still
Your knees aren't up to your chest.
not quite as bad. No, but took it to the skate park for the first time. Didn't eat shit, which.
Yeah,
I didn't push
that's not
myself.
What we wanted to hear.
I didn't push myself because I was extreme. Because I also thought, like, if I fall and break my wrist right now, roommates in Lubbock, my parents are in North Texas. Like, I'm calling one of you two to come, try. Like, I'm not taking an ambulance to the hospital because I'm not paying for that.
You're not going to a hospital. We just pop it right back
See,
in.
and
Duct tape it up.
That's why I would have called you. Just bring the duct tape and heavy painkillers, and we'd be fine. Yeah, no, so I didn't push it too bad, but I woke up. I did that yesterday, and I woke up this morning not sure. There was a 10% chance I was gonna text y'all at noon again and be like, I can't. I'm not leaving the house.
How did taking
It's
a
the
poop feel?
thighs.
How did the poop bending down, taking a poop?
That's
feel?
fine. It's the
wasn't
bending.
like
The
that.
getting down wasn't bad.
It was a standing
It's
up.
the standing up after being down for a amount of time to take care of business.
Every time it was like when I start working out again, it's like leg day, and it's like, oh my God, dude, I can't even get onto the pot.
See, and luckily, I mean, obviously, you see, these aren't.
Hey, put those guns away.
Yeah, these aren't doing
those
anything.
registered?
These are doing nothing. But the legs.
And cue the arm wrestling video.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we've seen that evidence. The legs are surprisingly still in decent shape. So I was sore, but still, Playing injured, but we're
Playing
here.
injured.
We're
You're here.
Now, besides that, I survived on HEB, ready meals, and a bunch of leftover saltwater taffy from our last trip to Port A. I was just it kind of felt good because, like, one night,
You boys want some taffy?
I ate.
You want to come and help me work on my car?
I made some old school college ramen, like at 2:30 in the morning, like I was living in the dorm again. So it wasn't all terrible.
I ate ramen last night. Man, what is this? This is like, I was like, man, that's gonna help my walking pneumonia.
Well, yeah, you need the broth. You're sick.
Yeah.
Everyone knows broth cures everything, no matter what the sickness is. But now, short of that, I am happy to have the roommate back, especially now that she is committed to doing Friday episodes starting this Friday. How about y'all? What do we got from the weekend recap?
Weekend, man. Did a little bit of UFC watching, and of course watched the Gold Cup.
Was it UFC big fight, medium fight, or
It
low
was
level?
semi-big. It wasn't the biggest fight. It's not a super fight, but it was a big fight. We had Charles Oliveira going against the Georginian. Is that how you say a person from Georgia?
Yeah, Georginian,
Georginian.
home of Nikolash Skidashvili.
Yeah, he just showed how much of a badass he is. He just won 2 belts. He won a second belt in a different division, and he put Oliveira to sleep, man. And then he called out old Patty Pimbleton. Oh, the
What
old
a fake
Patty
Peaky
the
Blinders name that is.
Patty the baddie, you know. Oh God, and leading in, yeah, he called out Patty the baddie. So that's going to be a super fight right there because they really don't like each other.
Are we actually gonna get it?
Oh yeah, we're gonna get it. They fight. They're the youngins. The old ones run. So that's we watched some of that, and then of course we're walking into the Yankees minute as I am so excited right now. They just hit a home run off us. We were coming back. We were down 0-8. Down 7. It was 7-8. We had 2-1, and we gave up a double play. And now they just hit another home run to be 2 runs up on us. But we still can make it. We can still make it because we do not want to get swept by Toronto. They are coming back. They're going to take our first place spot.
I was about to say Toronto's right behind y'all now.
We can. Hey, you be quiet during my
Oh,
minute.
sorry.
You know, Mr. Non-Yankee fan, but
No, I'm a Texan.
Judge, he's coming out of his slump, but we had Goldie. He was up there with Judge at a 350. He is down under 3.
Second in AL MVP voting.
What I tell you?
Sorry. Add 10 seconds.
I'm about to add another minute, but we don't really have much to talk about because we've been losing, winning, same 500. We can't get to the All-Star break fast enough. Max Fried just gave up not his worst game of the season, but this second worst game today. And hopefully we can pull out a win. And I'll be watching it, and you'll hear me scream and throw something.
Well, you talk about the Yankees struggling. At least it's not as bad as the Mets here lately. What are they, 3-13 in their last 16?
They're on a tailspin.
After being after starting the year so good. Now I teased you. I mentioned as much as you talk about your boy Aaron Judge.
Ooh. As much. Oh, why should I ever talk about Aaron Judge, the reigning MVP, who had one of the best starts ever to start the MLB in 130 years. He had the best start in all
every
statistic. Not now, but in the beginning of the year,
what are you talking
when
about?
he was
The
batting
first week?
500. No, I'm talking the first 2 months.
He didn't bat 500 for the first 2 months.
In the first month, he was.
He was over 400.
No, he was over 400. He literally was the best offensive baseball player ever to do it for the first 2 months. I can't say anything else. Those are facts. The numbers don't lie. Well, and here comes your outrageous thoughts on who he's behind in MVP. Well, go for it.
I think overall you're still going to get. I think you're still going to get Aaron Judge probably get more votes than who I'm going to suggest.
Off of statistics, yes.
Yeah, off of overall statistics because you know as much as I am pushing or not pushing, but promoting the Cal Raleigh MVP.
Amazing catcher. That's my position, man. Like
He's only hitting 272, but
Yeah.
the 33 home runs, the only people that have hit more home runs than him in a season before July, you're talking like Bonds, Griffey, I
Yeah.
think Sosa.
Yeah, it was steroids.
Yeah, all the steroids guys.
Yeah, all the steroids.
Which
he actually was on pace. I think he beat some of them. But he only has 3 more home runs than Judge, and I believe we're going to get one from Judge this game.
do you? I mean, it's not that it really matters, but 33 home runs from a catcher versus 33 home runs from an outfielder.
He had 25 home runs all season.
Well, and that's
last
why I
year.
said you might want to
check that man for some juice.
That's why I said
Piss test him every day.
look at the company that's around him on those
That is some
most
BS.
home runs before July in a season.
Seattle, no one knows what they're doing up in Seattle.
No, and they continue like every team in the AL West.
I'm gonna hold court. and I'm
Seattle
gonna be the
continues
judge
to
for that.
fall further and further behind the Astros. The Astros are so damn good. It's so frustrating how
They just keep winning.
they just keep winning.
They
Yeah.
keep winning. Dude.
Just good baseball, and it's
weak divisions.
Yeah, I don't think.
I stick by my word.
I mean, you have
Stick by my story.
you have the Mariners who should have won the division last year. You have the Rangers who won the World Series 2 years ago. I mean, you're saying the Guardians and the Twins are tougher competition than the Mariners and Rangers in that division over the last 3 years?
Yeah. The Guardians are always up there. Yeah. They're like Ramirez is always a Hall of Fame. Like not Hall of, he's going to be.
So
a
have they made a
Famer.
World Series appearance in the last 2 years?
No, because they had to go through Houston and the Yankees.
Oh, funny. One team in that division that you said was so bad went through Houston to get to a World Series. All right, man. I just think you're discrediting the AL West. I mean, especially when you look at your AL East right now. It's not like the Orioles
Are you AL West? I thought you're AL Central.
No, the Central is
okay.
Tigers, Guardians.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's AL West, yeah.
Rangers and Astros are the only teams that are in Central Division that are in the AL West. And it used to, when it was only the Rangers, it really drove me crazy because it was such a disadvantage to have one team 2 time zones away from the rest of the division. Now, as much as I joke about it, I'm about ready to declare the Rangers sellers. I mean,
give us a picture.
2 games under 500. They're 10 games back of the Astros now.
Picture.
The problem I keep coming back to
Uvalde, don't care.
the DeGrom one's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I would be much more interested in trading DeGrom than Uvalde. Because DeGrom all of a sudden, 6 months ago, you could make an argument that the DeGrom contract was an absolute albatross and a terrible signing.
Until he started playing really good this
Until
year.
all of a sudden he's back to being unhittable DeGrom, who's carrying no hitters into the 7th inning just about every start.
Yeah.
Obviously hyperbolic there, but if you're talking about the return potential of anybody that the Rangers could move, I think they have a serious question about DeGrom. Like, you've seen him healthy for 4 months now to start the year. Do you put a lot of faith that that's going to continue for the next 18 months through the rest of this deal for a whole nother season?
No, we just need him just to do it this season. Then we get Garrett
But
Cole
I'm talking
back.
about from the Rangers' perspective of what, like, if you're talking the trade-off of what you can get back in a deal versus the value of keeping him.
Yeah, and the fact that if you sold him to the Yankees or someone that's in it, like, they get instant value this year, and they also have value next year because they're obviously contenders.
Yeah, and DeGrom under contract for that 1 more year. I think it's going to take. The Rangers are in such a position of still trying to be a win-now team. I think it's going to take a whole lot to try to pry either one of those top. I think the more likely name is like a Tyler Mahle, but now he's on the.
Because we hit the halfway mark.
He's got shoulder fatigue,
Yeah.
which you never want to see on an injury list, especially with a guy that's battled shoulder injuries.
Mm-hmm.
But he would have been the one that I thought, if they were going to try to balance that line, oh my God.
And I called it! Judge 2-run home run, I called it.
I'm sorry.
I called it.
Are we doing Are we doing a Yankees post-game show? Are we doing a Yankees watch-along?
And we're tied.
Are we doing?
And we're tied.
Oh, you're not even winning. You're celebrating.
We're tied.
You're like Adolis Garcia when he hit the home run in extra innings the other day. Like, hey, I won the champion. Like, dude,
I just called the
you
Judge
tied
home
it up.
run literally 2 minutes ago.
Congratulations. He's only hit 34 of them.
31.
Oh, okay. That's right, because Cal Raleigh
only has
would
33.
be 34 the next time
33.
he hits one.
34.
34.
Next time. But that was a big one. Anyway, go ahead.
It's a big one on July 2nd in baseball, where there's still 80 games left.
our division
We're
rival.
at the halfway point.
Wow, it's a big one.
There's no such thing as a big one right now. The Rangers.
So who wants to talk golf?
When's the last time the Yankees played in 4 straight extra inning games?
Man, who knows, dude?
That was the pain of watching the Rangers this weekend. They had 3. Every game against the
I did see
Mariners
some
went
of
to
their
extra
extra
innings.
innings,
All
yeah.
3 of those, and then the first game against the Orioles in this current series went to extra
Watching
innings.
the Rangers is painful.
It's awful.
Because y'all
Dude,
need hitting.
it's
y'all just
so
need,
bad.
If y'all get a run and a half more a game,
What was the
you would be
record I told
leading
you?
the division.
It's they're like 28-4 when they score 3 runs or more.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
3 runs. The league average is 4.5.
Yeah,
Like it's
not
insane.
that much, but,
Yeah, it's 3 3/4, right? Like
Yeah.
3.7, 3.8, something like that.
I think it's just above 3.5.
Yeah, it's so I mean, just be league average, and you're 10
be
games
average.
over 500. Yeah,
How the manager come in there? Can y'all just be average? Just be average.
look,
I'm not asking for greatness.
I'm not one
I'm
to
not
tell
asking for
Bruce
greatness.
Bochy, the Hall of Famer, how to do his job, but maybe just asking for average.
That's a tall drink of water right there.
Might be able to get things done. LG, how about you? I know you had a
Sorry.
little bit of trouble this weekend.
Trouble.
Yeah. It sounds like a massive investment is already circling the drain.
Sounds like artificial intelligence has
Making it a little, exaggerating it a little bit, but yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm just having some minor maintenance.
Well,
done
then
to the car.
explain to me why.
Chat
Explain to me why whenever I pull up to your house tonight, I see a different Tesla in the driveway, not the brand new one that should have no issues that you just purchased like a week ago.
It's getting a new touchscreen installed.
Oh, isn't that like a main part of the Tesla?
Dude, you would when he was showing
That's like
me,
the main part.
It's all there is.
it's
to
everything.
It.
It's like how you do your blinker.
Especially since you let it drive for you, like you need that touchscreen.
Well, yeah. It just,
Which scares me.
It just
if
wasn't.
you can't touch the touchscreen,
It wasn't performing the way it should.
and AI is sitting there going crazy on you with the car, it's gonna run over some poor kid, the children. What about the children, man?
It was just a little lagging. So I took it there, and of course, it didn't do it when I took it to the service center.
Oh, it's good to know that
Yeah.
even an all-electric car still acts like my 1985 long bed GMC. Like it's still, you take, I swear, guys, it's been doing it all week, and then you take it to the dealership and can't.
Yeah.
See, I swear it was doing it.
I dropped it off at 7:30 a.m. and so they contacted me at like 3 o'clock and said, "Yeah, we found an issue. We're gonna have to keep it overnight."
Oh,
So I was like, "Okay."
Yeah,
So-
that overnight's gonna be a little longer. Than
I guess
that.
they're just they're gonna just switch
you
out
drop
the
it off?
touchscreen, or they're waiting for a part or something, because it shouldn't be too hard.
Oh,
Those
they're
things
waiting
are
for a
like
part.
really
Okay.
easy. They didn't tell me.
Yeah,
But
can't they just-
They did give me $100,000 loaner car though.
well, I guess.
So you got the dancing one.
Yeah, I got the
model
one with
the-
the Falcon.
yeah,
one.
with the
Yeah.
DeLorean
You
doors.
got the X and the sexy.
And that thing goes like 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds.
So
Oh,
that,
does it have ludicrous speed?
It has
Or ludicrous
insane mode. It
Oh.
doesn't
So,
have ludicrous mode.
This is the one I drove back from Houston. I went
So
insane.
ridiculous.
I went in insane mode, and like I was cruising about 90 to 100.
Yeah, you gotta have
10.
the plaid edition to get the ludicrous mode. But insane's pretty good too.
And all of that is.
I've tried it all too.
all of that is from Spaceballs. Like we're
Yes.
100% sure.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
The plaid when they go into the.
He went plaid.
Yeah,
Yes,
like
of
it's,
course.
Look, I love a good bit. I always love someone that
And all y'all
appreciates
rooting
a
for
good bit.
the other team there.
But at least
in the
it's
chat, I see every one of you, and I will find you.
at least
and I
it's.
will-
Are you
No,
still
I'm
talking
just saying.
Yankees?
No, I'm not talking anything. No, we're talking ludicrous speed, plaid, Spaceballs, cars breaking down, no boxers.
On to our main segment. No, I'm kidding. What about the rest of your weekend before your car went tits up?
Not much. I went up to San Marcos on Friday and hit up some bars that I hadn't been to in years.
Ooh, which ones? I'm curious. Did you go to Taproom?
Yep, Taproom was my first
Yeah,
stop.
Taproom's great.
Is that the first one on the right when you go on the main street?
No,
Nah,
it's kind of tucked.
Yeah, it's in the middle.
Yeah, it's kind of on the.
It's on the backside, really. You have to go through a bar at the front. If you park on the front of the square, you have to go through one bar to get to the top.
always
that's
park
the
on the
one.
back.
Is that the one where our mutual friend is he still out there hosting?
I don't know what he does out there. I think he's
Like, he
moved on
hosts-
from
he-
hosting.
That was very vague. Like, I don't know if I should say
Wow,
what he does out there in San Marcos.
I think he works on campus now.
Oh, he works. Yeah, well, because he works for
'Cause
the
he grew
campus.
up.
I don't want to be
Yeah.
like, hey, he's out there
Dude, that's-
partying with a bunch of kids.
We became adults.
I'm not gonna lie. outside of working for iHeart,
Hey, go iHeart.
the best job I ever had was working on campus at Texas State. I worked in
I
the
bet,
bookstore. Dude, it was awesome. One year, Kinky Friedman came in. The first week of classes, new semester had just started. Kinky Freeman, RIP, walked into the student center. I was working in there, and I was one of the few people, all college kids, one of the few people that recognized him, knew who he was, and so I walked up and I was like, "Hey, Mr. Friedman, what are you doing on campus? What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Well, call me Kinky." And I'm like, "Okay." I was like,
It's a
little
grown man
uncomfortable,
kinky.
but
I ain't growing another man delicious.
yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. But if you tell me to, yes, sir,
All
I
right,
will.
Kink. I call him all Kink.
And then he followed it like, "All right, Kink." Second, he followed it with, "I'll tell you what I'm doing here. I'm just checking out the new scenery." And it was the creepiest, but yet like, hell yeah. Like that
No.
is hell yeah. It's a college campus. There's no issues
They
there.
all stay the same age.
Not at college. He stays the same age, and in his eyes, they all rotate. Yeah, he was coming to check out the new scenery at Texas
Call me
State.
Kinky.
Yikes.
Came to
Yeah,
check out the
it was
scenery.
Look, y'all are making it much worse than it actually was. It was a very.
I'm a fan.
It was
To
a
be
very
fair,
wholesome
there was a lot of
exchange.
scenery over there at the Bikini Hill, or as we referred to it as the Assy Knoll.
That's
The assy
Yes.
That's correct. I would suggest few colleges have as good of scenery in Texas as Texas State.
It's true.
does.
It's true.
It's like you either get the.
We're the home of future porn stars.
I don't.
the river runs through it.
That's
That's
correct.
all I can say.
Everyone's in bathing suits. It's spectacular.
You graduate, you jump in the river.
yeah. What are we talking about here?
tradition.
You tube.
And shout out
You
Texas
tube ass
State.
up.
Shout out
Yes.
always.
Shout out my Bobcats. Moving on.
Yeah.
Moving to the. I don't even.
The Pac-12? Is that where they're
I'm
going?
so uncomfortable calling it the Pac-12 because it's when I say
the Pac.
When I think of Pac-12, I think of the Conference of Champions, the UCLA and USC in the Rose Bowl. I think of Joey Harrington and the Oregon Ducks coming out of nowhere and putting Oregon on the map. I think of Washington playing in a national championship game twice in my lifetime. None of those teams I just listed are in the Pac-12 anymore.
So what is this, like 5 different conferences in the past 10 years for Texas State?
It's a hell of a come up. It's, and of course, as we sit in San Antonio and I'm wearing an SMU shirt, my grandpa went there, it's family. I saw a lot of back and forth between UTSA and Texas State fans, alumni, students over the weekend. And it's one of those deals where I don't think anyone's right, but I also don't think anyone's wrong. Like UTSA got offered to go to the Pac-12 along with 3 other teams from the American Conference. UTSA didn't have the $25 million to buy out, to get out.
And we still playing in the Alamo Dome.
And the Pac-12 didn't have the money from a media deal that they used to have to cover that buyout like they would have if it was the old Pac-12. So that didn't work out. Texas State only leaving the Sun Belt, not nearly as much of a cost to move to the Pac-12.
Yeah.
So it feels like as cliche as it is, it kind of feels like a win for everyone in a sense because
I want the Roadrunners in the Big 12.
Eventually,
Yeah.
I think there's to be honest, it would be awesome if Texas State and UTSA were in the same conference, whether it's the Big 12, because I want that rivalry. I mean, Texas State's been playing football for 110, 120 years?
Long time.
Long time. I mean, they go back to early 1900s.
North Texas or is it SMU that kind of like is the rival besides the Roadrunners that are now coming up?
For Texas State? Texas State's rival is more, it's more Sam Houston State because they have the history of being in the same conference before both of them jumped to D1. That's more like last year, Texas State and Sam Houston State played at Reliant Stadium in Houston.
Okay.
It's that big of an old, because again, both of those schools, UTSA has been playing football for 15 years.
Yeah.
Texas State and Sam Houston State have been playing for decades plus, they have. That's more Texas State's traditional rival at this point. Yeah. And for UTSA, it's Texas State and North Texas.
Okay.
So it's North Texas and UTSA have had some good battles, and now that they're in the same conference on the same level. So all of that to say,
I know there was some trash talk between UTSA coach and Texas State coach, right, about the baseball.
Oh yeah, Hallmark, yeah. Well, and that's
if we get funding,
Well, Texas State's got a pretty awesome baseball stadium over there. They've put some kids in the big leagues too, so I'd say that's probably Texas State's most consistent program. But I just think it's good for everyone. It's good for the region. It's good for. I mean, there's so many. Obviously, LG and I went to Texas State. There's so many Texas State people, in San Antonio. Like RJ works for KSAT. He's a Texas State guy, doing news in San Antonio. I just think it's good.
I'm older. Half my friends are Texas State because UTSA really wasn't.
It wasn't anything, until football program, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, back then, Southwest Texas State, SWT.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to see whether they're in the same conference or not. The fact that Texas State is growing as UTSA is growing potentially gets, what's the old word?
Lumped together.
High tide rises all boats, something like that.
What are you, a fisherman?
Are we
more
doing
more Jaws reference,
dude? So
I already said one. We'll need a bigger boat.
I made the roommate watch Jaws. So I've watched it now twice in the last 10 days. I just forgot how great it is.
I'm an old seaman.
I even might have watched Close Encounters because I went down a Spielberg wormhole. I had a lot of free time this weekend. All right, get off my back.
My car was broken.
It's exciting. I mean, long story short, good to see Texas State move up because just getting out of Sun Belt is nice, as UTSA can attest to. Anything else from the weekend, boys, before we move on to some main segment?
Great golf match, man.
That was good.
It was like five
3-person
extra holes,
5-hole playoff.
Oh man, and they were running it like it was just back and forth, and then he just one shot, just one putt was better than the other, and the 20-year-old, the kid who won it, I don't remember his name because he's 20 years old. He's 20 years old, man. What were you doing at 20? Winning golf championships? No, you weren't.
I was hanging out on the Assy Knoll in San Marcos.
I was in there trying to sneak into bars. I wasn't really trying. I was sneaking into bars and banging chicks and, living my best life.
Which means you were getting kicked out of bars in an attempt to get laid.
They were trying to hire me as the bouncer, and they're like, can we get your ID for the 1099?
Let's keep this off the books.
Nope, we're keeping this off the books, sir.
Yeah, what was
so end up the 20-year-old kid,
the South African kid. How do you say his last name?
It was like
Pottinger,
Pottinger, or
Pottinger.
I was out there, college graduate in the other room.
Not going to work here anymore anyway.
Yeah, that's okay. He's South African. He probably supports apartheid anyway.
Oh, my God. I mean,
there's a lot of those. There's a lot of those
yeah.
South African golfers that have it on the record. Looking at you, Gary Player, had some hot opinions about the opposing race that occupied your country. But anyway,
that is a little old man. You leave that little old man alone.
people don't forget.
They are racist.
People don't forget.
But
Yeah, I wasn't as plugged. I had the golf on the quad box, but the names just weren't as. Yeah, I mean, they're a great story for the 20-year-old kid. I'm sure he doesn't. I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he's great.
I'm sure he's fine.
I mean, it just didn't.
He just has a horrible
Didn't
past
do,
of like enslaving indigenous people.
Well, minor detail. It just didn't grab my attention a whole lot. Yeah, Gary Player's got. You never want to be a golf player that has a controversy tab on Wikipedia. That's that's like the Tiger Woods rule. If I'm scrolling your Wikipedia page and I see controversy, like, ooh, let me
what are we gonna hit first?
Let's expand on that. Let's move into the main segment here as we hit the hour mark. I teased it. This will probably be our last NBA segment for a few months, barring any other massive news that come out, because it feels, at this point, most of the big names, or there really weren't any big names. Most of the top available guys are pretty much gone now.
Yeah, the big names got released.
Surprisingly, or might be about to get traded even.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the Spurs because we've talked about it, the weeks leading up to the draft. Everyone kind of assumed that 14th pick would be where the Spurs address their need for a big man.
Yeah.
But
of course, the GM we trust.
Well, when Carter Bryant is there,
yeah,
the value of getting him at 14 outweighs the need to draft someone to be your backup big man.
Did you hear that? We did not even practice him, did not even take a look at him, call him in for a practice session or something to hope to for him to slip to the teens and trade up for him. That was
interesting.
That was the goal, and then it fell in their lap.
Yeah, you couldn't have.
They didn't work him out at all.
Going back first of all, that's a sick ass Spurs draft hat. I do appreciate that. Going back to last Wednesday as we were sitting here doing the watch party, the watch along. Even in the moment, I couldn't believe that New Orleans traded away their first round pick next year to move up to 13.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Crazy. But the more I think about it now, the fact that Chicago picked 12th, the fact that Chicago didn't try to do that, like
they don't need a 3D guy.
Yeah, or or try to make that trade with New Orleans. I mean, there were so many, not insane, but there were so many questionable decisions made from that 10th pick of Malawash to Phoenix to which that one, it makes perfect sense. They're rebuilding. You get your big man. But then, 11, 12, 13, the 3 picks leading up to the Spurs pick.
All seemed like a wash.
It was just like, how is this falling like that? Like, how is Cedric Coward, a guy that was playing D3 basketball, getting picked ahead of Carter Bryant? How is Essengu, the Frenchman, that apparently Chicago had made a guarantee to? How is he going ahead of Carter Bryant? And then the biggest one, why is New Orleans trading their first round pick next year to get Derek Queen at 13? And if I was Brian Wright or the Spurs, Pop in the front office, if I was any of them watching those teams, those are the things that bad teams do.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you stay at the bottom.
Yeah, like that. They didn't have to trade up or do anything because the teams ahead of them were so set on their
they were tunnel visioned.
It sure seemed like it. It sure. And
we
were
tunnel visioned on him, which I had no idea. And then when I heard that, we purposely did not work him out, which is why are we going to pick someone we don't work out or to get a health physical or any kind of stuff like that? Have our doctors check him out and then pick him. And then I do remember ours was a quick pick. Our pick was in.
Oh yeah, no, they immediately were like, no, we're not entertaining any trades. from anybody that wants to, because you had, right after that, you had, out of the next 4 picks, there were 3 trades.
Yeah.
So like the Spurs between the 12th pick or between the 13th pick and the 18th pick, 5 picks, the Spurs were the only one of those picks that wasn't a trade. Yeah. And technically it was a trade from 2 years ago from the DeJounte trade. It was the Atlanta pick.
Yeah.
But like the rest of those were all movement.
Which you can honestly say, like, even with the point guard, it's like we got a younger DeJounte Murray who can put it on the ground, who plays great D, and it can hit the 3.
Oh, are you talking about Harper?
Yeah.
I would. First of all, comparing Harper was the number 2 pick. DeJounte was a late first rounder.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about Carter.
Oh, Carter. Oh, he's going to end up playing 4. Yeah. He's going to end up being a undersized 4 or a pure 3-man. Yeah.
I think he's going to be a 3-man. But DeJounte, he was our point guard, but he was the size where he could play at 3. Was he a little smaller? Carter Bryant's
solid 6'8". I mean, he's a big old boy compared to.
How tall was DeJounte? I thought he was 6'8".
6'4". No, DeJounte.
I seen him. He was bigger than me.
Nah, well then you're 5'11". I don't know what to tell you. No, DeJounte is like 6'4", somewhere right in that 6'3", 6'4" range.
Maybe I saw a different Spur.
Yeah, maybe you just saw a random.
It was at
black
George's
man.
Keep. It was at George's Keep.
Okay, well, maybe. No, I think it's. We talked about it. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about the draft because we talked about it a lot last week. We got a lot of free agency to get to, but outside of Dallas tripping over their unit and getting the first pick overall, I think you have to say Dallas had the best draft if Cooper Flagg is what we think he is. If Cooper Flagg is, the level of 1-1 transcendent pick, then that's the best draft.
Yeah.
But there's no one that came close to second to where I would say the Spurs were. I mean, getting Dylan Harper second and then getting Carter Bryant 14th, the gap from them to Dallas is smaller than the gap from them to whoever you would say had the third best draft.
And I love how they gave I checked a bunch of grades, and they all gave the Harper pick a B because they're like, Spurs are so loaded at this position. And it's
okay, and that was stupid.
You're like, but he's a talent.
Right. And the main guy that said that was Kevin O'Connor writing for Yahoo. And so I don't agree. You don't give the draft a B because of the talent you brought in. But with that being said, and we've talked about this a lot over the last few weeks, the fit with De'Aaron Fox on the roster still.
Yeah.
They're absolute, De'Aaron Fox is about to be the odd man looking in on the Harper Castle backcourt. I don't think the Spurs are envisioning 5 years from now, 3 years from now, that Fox, Castle, and Harper are all your starting 1, 2, and 3. That's untenable. You can't have. That's just. I don't think that lineup works.
I think Harper becomes the point guard at some point.
1,000%. I think it. Which again. Let's get Fox locked into that extension so he is a tradable asset here in 2 years when you're finally ready, or maybe even sooner, depending on how this group gels and how good Harper is.
Yeah.
But Fox is going to end up being the centerpiece of a bigger deal of whichever. And I had this marked down. The Spurs have gone plan powder by not doing any kind of Giannis trade. Who knows if Giannis is even available? We'll talk about that in a minute. Obviously not doing the KD trade, not making any kind of big swing trade this offseason. They've gone, preserve their flexibility. But at the same time, there's no team outside of Oklahoma City that is more ready to pounce on that next star that we're not even talking about yet. Yeah. That becomes available or that pushes for a trade.
And Oklahoma City just gets richer, man.
Of course.
God, man.
I mean, they're well run. That's why the Spurs are trying to replicate what Presti has done.
The Spurs tree.
It's funny. Presti learned it in San Antonio, did it in Oklahoma City, and now San Antonio is copying Presti, what he's done in Oklahoma City. It's very
because we were trying to keep the streak going for Pop. I think it was just like we were trying to get him the most wins. We were trying to get him.
Speaking, did y'all see that the NBA rescinded?
Yeah.
And gave them to Mitch Johnson,
Yeah.
which it takes. Pop is now under 1,400 total wins. He's at 1,390. He's still 53 or 55 clear of Don Nelson for the overall record.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, no, he's
I just
still
thought
clear.
it just helped his average.
So it helped his win percent. His win percentage went from like 621 up to 628.
Okay.
Still seventh or eighth best win percentage ever, but most wins overall. But it means Mitch Johnson now officially has
He is now a head
70
coach.
games worth of worth of a coaching record.
Yeah.
Which seemed fair, but I'm just not keep an eye because I don't think it's going to happen this year. But the De'Aaron Fox extension talks, we still haven't gotten any kind of extension. He's going to be an expiring contract if they don't do anything. I think they're going to get something done. But I think if you're,
But we gave him a 4-year extension.
I don't think that's been officially
I thought
announced.
It was $228 million.
Has it?
Oh yeah, fact check me on that.
Yeah.
I thought
He's in position. He potentially could sign a 4-year, $229 million extension. But here's the thing. I'm not sure.
Well, we're going to keep him for a year?
Well,
I say we sign him. We have the money.
Signing him allows you.
And then we get him for trade bait in 2 to 3 years.
And the team, you're not going to sign him as an expiring contract at the deadline this year because you wouldn't get full value.
Exactly.
But here's the other thing. De'Aaron Fox now knows, like, he can read the room. He sees Harper as the future point guard. He sees Castle as the future two guard.
But we're going to give him the max,
Sure.
the max contract that he can get right now. He can't get a super max because he's not.
He's not. Yeah, he's not eligible.
They just raised the NBA cap.
Yeah, and didn't go up as much as.
What did it go up like 20 mil or something?
Was that? I thought it was like 17. I think it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think his idea or vision for his future now versus 6 months ago when they did the trade, which you do that trade every time. The Spurs gave up nothing to get him.
No way did we think we were going to get the second pick.
Exactly. And now all of a sudden.
We were probably gunning for Carter the whole time. And then the fact that we got the number 2 pick, we were just like, pivot to the next, the second best player in the draft. That would be number 1 in any other draft, except for the Wemby.
Yeah,
But,
I just think the De'Aaron Fox
we have to sign Fox for that money.
Yeah, I think you get an extension done while both parties kind of know. Look, in 2 years,
we can make a run in 2 years.
We're potentially going.
We can make a run. We can. Dude, believe. In San Antonio, we like to believe.
No, you like to be delusional, and that's fine. It's fine. Yeah, no, you'll pay $20 to hear a shitty cover band sing that song on a Friday night. Like it's great. I love it.
Spasmax are not shitty,
buddy. You realize every city has a version of the Spasmatics.
Yeah.
It's
not as good as them though.
Oh yeah, our San Antonio Spasmatics are way
awesome,
better.
man.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, it's not that I'm not a believer. It's that I look at the rest of the West. Denver just might have had the second best offseason of any team.
Yeah.
Houston just had the best offseason of any team. You have other teams that did well in the offseason in the East, but
Houston had the best offseason.
Yes.
They got KD.
Got Dorian Finney-Smith, got Clint Capella, extended Jabari Smith on a very cheap
I didn't see
value deal.
I didn't see that one, but
and now they are in the position of they can still offer Şengün and whoever else for Giannis if the Bucks implode. Houston's in a great as much as it pains me to say, like Houston is clearly the second best team in the West. They were the second best team in the West this year, and they just got better. The gap between Oklahoma City, Houston, Denver, and then it's that middle ground of the West right now. Lakers are potentially. I think they're going to get Ayton. I think I saw that earlier.
Yeah.
But like that's, they don't get Horford, they don't get Brook Lopez, having to settle for an unmotivated DeAndre Ayton. LeBron, let's talk about LeBron. Is LeBron angling for a trade right now?
I want to go back home to play with my son in Cleveland. Bring Bronny with me. Bring little Bronny with me. But then they're saying the bad blood, the Heatles, from the Heatles, that he's going to, that like they don't want him, but the fans will take him, because they're gearing up. Just like we talked about last week, man, like there's with all the injuries, and that's the reason why they let Damian Lillard go, is because they went and signed a big. Who did they sign?
The Miles Turner.
Miles Turner.
Pacers big man.
Yeah, the Pacers big man, to try to get this year with Giannis, because this is last year's contract, right?
No, he's still under extension, but they're just trying to keep him committed.
Committed, okay.
Yeah, because he's,
which that kind of backfired.
The rumor mill has always been that Giannis might be available, but we've never actually heard anything from Giannis. But Rich Paul's, Clutch Sports, LeBron's buddy agent, his comments talking about how, LeBron is not looking to, he's still looking to compete. He still wants to win a title, and we'll be watching what the Lakers do. First of all, that sounds a lot like potentially LeBron is available if there is a team that has the assets to make it happen, which there are a few that could absolutely do it tonight if LeBron was really serious about angling for a trade. But I think this is a perfect example of LeBron, like he does often, talking out of both sides of his mouth. Because you say, I'm not looking to retire. I'm still in championship mode. I'm still trying. I want to be on a team that's a championship contender. First of all, you were on the 3 seed in a loaded West last year with Luka for only 3 months. Like, you're about to get a whole season of that. Like, yes, you lost Finney-Smith. You need to get a center, but there are holes in that roster. But it's not like you're playing on a team that played in the play-in last year.
If we didn't see LeBron's ego going to the Heat and them being like, well, this is still Dwayne Wade City, we see the ego now. Luka just took his shine.
Well, and that's the thing. So, again, talking about LeBron specifically, you say it's still about winning championships, but
he's not the center of
attention. But you opt into that $52 million final year on the contract.
Who's going to walk away from $52 million?
I understand, but if it's all about championships, you could have turned that down and signed any team for the minimum.
But it's all about championships and what he can sit there and be like.
No, it's all about money. And then championships. And that's fine. But don't tell me it's all about championships. I think it's like a 1A, 1B. Because everywhere he's been, he's you better bring people in that are available to compete to a championship, or I'm not coming for you. Do you know how many times has LeBron taken a pay cut in his career? One time.
One time? I thought never.
The only one time to get the 3 Heatles together.
Oh, to get Bosh.
To get Bosh to get them all together under the cap. And then since then.
Yeah, not one, not two, not
41-year-old LeBron being paid over $50 million a year. That's
ridiculous. Who's going to take that contract?
The Knicks would trade Cat straight up for him right now.
Oh, I bet they would.
Or they would trade Mikal Bridges. Dude, that Cat number in 3 years or in 2 years, they're going to have to do a Cat extension where the raise will be 15% from $61 million. That Cat contract is about to get ugly. Especially
Who's going to take him on?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're the Lakers,
and does he have like a no trade clause?
Cat doesn't. No, okay. LeBron does, which again, makes this even more difficult.
Yeah,
but
that's a ridiculous number when you're the number 2 on the team,
right? And you mentioned Bronny. Let's be honest. If LeBron is now throwing the Lakers under the bus by saying, I want out because you're not doing enough to win, That's the same organization that drafted your son last year
second round.
in the second round at 55 overall, I think it was, and gave him a fully guaranteed contract. He's the only second round pick ever picked at that number that has gotten guaranteed money. Yeah. The Lakers did exactly what you wanted to get your son to play, bring your kid to work for the rest of your career. And now you're potentially trying. LeBron has no leverage for the first time in his career, first time ever. Tim Duncan never ran out of leverage. Jordan never ran out of leverage. Kobe never ran out of leverage. LeBron has finally, and again, I think a different scenario. Those guys, Duncan didn't want leverage. He wasn't looking, he was never really leveraging the Spurs outside of the flirtation with Orlando that one time. But LeBron, for the first time in his 23, 22-year career, is on a team where he is not the number one priority.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most interesting part of this whole story. I think the Lakers kind of let Dorian Finney-Smith walk because they're more thinking about Luka's timeline than LeBron's. And Dorian and Luka, obviously buddies from Luka's early years in Dallas when Finney-Smith was still on that team. So you could have convinced me we're overpaying for Finney-Smith to make Luka happy, but they didn't do that. They let him go to Houston, and from reporting about the contract negotiations with Finney-Smith, they kind of did him dirty. They kind of lowballed him and then told other teams around the league, like, nah, he's injured. He was injured behind the scenes. He wasn't available when we needed him. He's got nagging.
Yeah, I never got up on that story.
You don't do that. Yeah. And so Finney-Smith's agent pulled all negotiations with the Lakers, which I think LeBron's team learned without the Lakers telling them. I think LeBron's team learned from Finney-Smith's agents that the Lakers were doing him dirty, which I think is also why LeBron releases that statement through Rich Paul that says, you've got to build a contender or I'm not going to be happy, basically. Because I think they knew the news of Finney-Smith leaving was going to hit 12 hours later once daylight broke. So there's a lot.
I don't see LeBron being a Laker next year.
I kind of don't either at this point. I didn't believe it at first. The first time I read the statement from Rich Paul, I thought, oh, this is classic LeBron. He's leveraging. This is what he always does. He forces teams to trade for guys like Larry Hughes or Danielle Marshall, overpaying for guy because he just wants. He's like, okay, yeah, that'll work. I can win with that. Like it might be terrible for the future of this franchise, but it'll help me individually win a championship this year.
Yeah.
So I want you to make this really dumb trade that's going to hamstring your future, but it's going to keep me happy for the next year until I decide this guy is terrible and I want him gone now. We've seen LeBron's done it at every single stop, less so in Miami because Pat Riley basically put his foot down and said, you're a player, I'm the GM president, mind your own damn business.
Yeah. And if Pat wasn't there,
look at that! Blue Jays win 11-9. Huh? No wonder you've been more engaged in the NBA talk for the last 90 seconds. Huh?
It was a great home run.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that's behind.
I should have called another one.
Yeah, you should have. Maybe
we don't play Ben Rice as a catcher.
Oh, I thought we loved Ben Rice. We
do love Ben Rice as a first baseman.
The Yankees minute is over.
Not as a catcher.
LeBron to Cleveland?
You son of a...
LeBron to Cleveland for...
is the AC on?
A combination. Cleveland has the pieces that if they were actually serious about making a surprise LeBron trade, they have the numbers to match it up. It would be probably built around Jared Allen. Potentially, I threw out the Knicks. If the Cat idea is wild... Yeah. But Mikal Bridges.
See, I never even knew about that contract, and I was like,
we
were talking about bringing Cat here. Now that I hear that contract,
Well, that's why I thought you might be able to do it without giving up a whole lot of assets.
Because of the contract.
Because of the contract.
But that would be right around where we're gonna have to pay Wemby.
All right, you ready for this? So this year, Cat is making $53.1 million. Next year, Cat is making $57 million. And 3 years from now, 2027, 2028, $61 million. So if you extend him, you're doing an extension that's somewhere between 10 or 15% higher.
Is that the
starting salary?
Is that the highest contract ever?
No. SGA just signed that. His extension earlier this week. That is officially.
And that's why they raised the cap.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw that earlier also. I don't know what the millions percent was, but I said 17. It went up like 7%.
7%.
Yeah. So, but it's still 7% of 156 million or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the other ones, is Golden State seriously going to flip Jimmy Butler for LeBron after just kind of committing? I think they might, but there was the flirtation even back at the deadline this past year where Golden State was trying to sniff into.
They're sniffing Giannis right now. From what I've seen, some looks of like this could be a championship team if they got Giannis, which I can't tell them they're not.
No, I think that would definitely put them back in that OKC, Houston, Denver group where they've fallen out of. And then the really harebrained one would be if Dallas got tried to get involved in any kind of negotiation, and because they just gave the extension to Gafford, who Luka loved, had great chemistry with in Dallas. You could do like
and they freed up cap room for signing Kyrie 2 years.
Yeah, the 3 year, 39 million a year extension. Yeah, like 119. You could do Klay Thompson, second choice in free agency when he left Golden State to come to Dallas. His second choice was LA. And he's a bit of a corpse of his old self now, but minor detail, his contract number, you could do Gafford, Klay Thompson, and then a combination of like Najee Marshall or someone else on that roster. You could make it work. I just don't think if Dallas leaves,
to play NBA 2K to learn more NBA players.
Buddy. Why do you think all these numbers are so fresh? I ran at one point, and I was texting with my buddy Toby about it. So I did the entire draft with every player going exactly in the spot that he went, did the full draft, got them all on the right team, and then I saved it at the beginning of free agency, and I've been going through each day to put the guys on the right team. Dude, fully nerding. This is my favorite time of year. This week, the NBA draft.
How long did that take you to sit there and put the stats up? Okay, don't they have that as an update nowadays?
So they stop updating at the end of the season.
Why?
Because
don't these nerds have something to do? Do they something better to do?
They want to take your money again come September. Because that will be the first official update with the rookies.
You have to pay for those updates?
No. I'm saying new game.
Oh, new game.
Like when they bring the new game out, that's when you'll actually get the actual players. Yeah, SGA's contract, Adrian's chiming in. That's going to get up to $71 million a year. Like we're crossing into uncharted waters in the NBA. But the chances of LeBron actually being traded, I think, are still lower than 50%, but they're closer to 50% than zero.
Yeah.
I think we would all agree.
I think I would put, if it was a poker player, I'd bet half the pot.
Yeah. I'd
bet half the pot that he's gone.
Especially, so I saw, they did get Ayton. They signed him.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're LeBron,
you got to pay Luka.
That doesn't, No, it's Luka. I think LeBron's struggling with the fact that it's Luka's team.
Yeah.
It's the first time in his career it's not. He's on an NBA team, and it's not LeBron's team.
The fact that the whole everybody was like, "This is the most ridiculous trade ever." You're trading, a legendary player in Luka, and to a team that has LeBron, the king, on it. And everybody was freaking out about it. I think that really stuck up his little.
Oh, big time, 1,000%. Yeah. All of the spotlight was off of him.
Yeah.
I another funny scenario. I think it would be hilarious if he does actually want to get traded and Cleveland negotiates a deal for him and Bronny.
That's what I see.
And then Bronny's telling Dad, like, Dad, I don't want to live in flipping Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like, I'm staying in L.A. Like,
You grew up here. I did.
Yeah, exactly. It's like your ass got out of here as fast as possible. Like, I don't want to go to Cleveland.
Akron, dude. Come
Yeah,
on.
like do you realize I'm gonna have to see relatives all the time?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even respond to their text. Like, I think that's
Poor
a funny
grandma.
That's a funny
Poor
subplot
grandma.
for me
Like,
too.
You get to see grandma every day. He's like, I don't care. I don't want to go to
Yeah,
Cleveland.
I just don't want to. I don't want to live in Akron. I'm LeBron James' son living in Southern California.
If I was,
I'm not going to Cleveland.
If I was LeBron, I would have been like, well, the D team doesn't play in Cleveland.
Yeah, exactly. Well, good for you. Their G League team is actually in Bismarck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Bismarck, South Dakota. So you'll love it there.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think last thought on LeBron. I am a sucker for narratives when it comes to sports. I do think it would be cool if he went back to Cleveland. How close Cleveland is and how wide open the East is now with all the injuries.
Him and Mitchell. Yeah.
Like Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year.
I think they would go to the finals. I don't think they'd win. LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now there's no team that I would confidently say would beat Oklahoma City. That's the unfortunate position.
You just told me Houston had an unbelievable year.
Yeah, I think they're second in the West, but I didn't say.
You don't think they have the firepower to beat Cleveland?
Who? Houston? If it's Houston, Cleveland?
Yeah.
I'd say that's more of a toss-up series. Yeah. I mean, we've also still haven't seen this Cleveland team.
And we're not talking about Joker anymore. Huh?
Actually, well, we're about to because Denver did exactly what they needed to put more pieces around him without really overpaying for anything. But before we talk best off seasons, let's talk specifically Bucks because talking about Giannis as a potential trade target or someone that feels like is starting to sour on his current environment in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
How much does Miles Turner change his line of thinking? Like, Miles Turner is a solid NBA starting center.
Yeah.
He's a fringe all-star in a good season. His defensive metrics have dropped considerably from where they were 3 years ago. He doesn't move nearly as well as he did 3 years ago. He's very similar to Brook Lopez in the, he's a pick and pop option. He's a guy that can hit a three-pointer, which is what Giannis needs. As the way Giannis operates, having a spacing big man is a good fit. But if you're Giannis, they waive Dame and use the stretch provision. So $100 million remaining on his contract. That now means over the next 5 years, they're going to have $22 million of dead cap each season now. So
for 2 years?
For 5 years, because they stretched it over 5 years.
Oh, my God.
Instead of just eating, because they needed to stretch it so far so they could get under the cap to sign Miles Turner.
So that's because they released Lillard?
Right. But if you waive a guy, you still have that money is still on your book.
Yeah.
It doesn't just go away.
It's guaranteed money.
So what they did,
like
instead of just waiving him where the money stayed what it would be, so instead of it being $50 million this year, a year he's not going to play, and $50 million next year, they take that total and stretch it over 5 years now.
Yeah.
So instead of it being 50 and 50, it's now 20, 20, 20, 20, 20.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
I got it.
And that opened up enough room for them to be able to sign Miles Turner.
Thank you, NBA 2K.
Right, 1,000%. But my question remains, how much does that change Giannis's, they re-sign Gary Trent Jr., re-sign Kevin Porter.
Yeah.
But
they're gonna try to persuade him the Twin Towers. Because
a lot of teams are doing that.
Yeah, who's the competition? You got New York, and you got the best players are undersized Cat for a center. What is he? Yeah, he's like 6'8", 8'6'9".
No, Cat's a solid. Cat's a solid 7. But he doesn't play like a 7-footer.
He's like a squad.
Yeah, and he's a spacing 7-footer. He's more like Dirk.
And then you got Jalen Brunson, who just runs to the hole like Derrick Rose. And then you got Cleveland. Who are their bigs? They're
Mobley and who I just said, Jared Allen.
Yeah. But you got it's Mitchell. That's Mitchell's team.
Yeah.
So who else do we got? Indiana Pacers.
Who aren't, now they've lost Turner. Halliburton's not playing. Pacers are a non-thought. Celtics have dismantled and are clearly in a gap year with Tatum out. The rest of the East.
The Heat, they don't have too much.
The Heat are the Heat. The Heat are
they're
going
in line
to be.
They're in line to sign something. I think
there's no one left. I mean, they're not going. They traded Duncan Robinson. They're not doing anything that's going to make them significantly better. They're in that.
Not this year.
They're in that 6 to 10 range every year, which is dangerous for them. I mean,
that was when they had Butler. So
right, and this year as an 8th seed, or this year as a 10 seed, they win the play-in, get to an 8 seed, and then get swept, where in the last 2 games of the series, they lost by a combined 92 points. So, like the Heat are the Heat. They always scare me, but they also, it's like it's like these men are nihilists, Donnie.
Tyler Hero is not going to take you there.
Yeah,
like Jimmy did.
No, and Tyler Hero is getting paid $40 million, something stupid too. So, if you just look at the rest of the East,
so I guarantee you they're trying to say we're going to win by size.
They're trying to convince Giannis that this year with Miles Turner,
we're going for the championship.
Yeah, it keeps us in the conversation at least, which I don't. Yeah, I feel about the Bucks like I do the Nuggets. Yeah. As long as the Nuggets have Jokic, they're in the conversation. As long as the Bucks have Giannis, they're in the conversation.
Who was Miles Turner playing for before?
Pacers.
The Pacers. Oh, okay. So,
which is also funny because we saw the Pacers and Bucks have, Halliburton's dad yelling at Giannis. We saw in the regular season when Dame had the 50-point game and the Pacers didn't give him the ball, but then they came out and said, actually, we did. He just didn't, all of that. Like the Pacers-Bucks are a bit of a budding rivalry
Midwest
in the East. Exactly. So, Miles Turner going there, that's another kind of angle on it too.
But I guarantee they're trying to sell Giannis on that one for sure.
They're doing everything they can to show Giannis we're willing to do big.
Yeah.
Like no one saw them waving Dame. Like that was shocking.
Yeah, but that was more like a friendship in the fact that, how can you do Dame Dollar that way?
Oh, Dame's fine.
But it's like...
Dame's getting all of his money, and he's about to get to pick his next team.
Yeah, exactly.
Dame is fine.
Exactly.
And he's not playing basketball next year.
Exactly. It's like, and that's what he tell him. It's like, man, we have a year, with Dame, we were struggling. It wasn't like, oh, Dame went out. We were up 3-1, and then we lost 4-3. That wasn't... nobody had the Bucks... I didn't have them.
No. The only way
last year.
The only way I guess you could say it kind of hurts or it kind of looks bad to the fan base. Dame had the blood clots like Wemby, comes back to play in the playoffs, and then immediately ruptures his Achilles. Yep. So in that sense, a guy that pushed his body to get back for a playoff run and then had catastrophic injury, I mean, you never want to be the guy that gets waived on a stretch provision. Well, I read an article about it. The fact that kids are playing intense national travel AAU at 12, 13, 14 years old, the miles I think that we're just putting on these future NBA guys.
Elevation. Damn you, Denver.
20 years ago, a kid who was destined to play in the NBA wasn't playing high-level basketball at 13 years old. Yeah. I think the fact that you're getting way more you're getting guys like running backs almost. Like you're just putting too many miles on their bodies now at too early, where you used to think a running back would fade at 32. Now they're fading at 28.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of potentially maybe what we're seeing with
because
with the NBA and these injuries.
I mean, with the running backs, man, that's all the game is in high school. Or I mean, middle school to high school is most of these running backs are just used 80 snaps a game.
Yeah.
You know, playing
they
two
are
ways.
the offense. Yeah, and
playing
also playing
2A.
safety or center or linebacker or something.
Exactly. So,
Quickly, before we get to the lightning round, I mentioned we mentioned the Spurs at the top, but really we only mentioned the draft, and we kind of teased that they got their big man. They do get Luke Cornett, the Green Cornet, from the Celtics. We're going to have to change that nickname, though.
you know, the one thing that I did see that was interests me is the Spurs trade for the center. We didn't give up much on him.
It was just a straight signing. Yeah,
straight signing.
Well, you gave up. I mean, 4 for 41 is not chump change.
But in this day and age, man, when you got like a $250,
I'm not saying it's not a bad deal.
Yeah,
but it's definitely a slight overpay for what Luke Cornett is.
Go ahead. What were you at? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm saying I love the signing and the fact that it's 11, like that's a movable deal.
Yeah.
He is about to turn 30, so in 4 years when he's on an $11 million contract,
give me your analysis
half,
of him, like defense, offense.
Yes, not near, better, above average, not elite, near, closer to elite than average.
Is he like
rim defender,
a dog on D?
Incredibly smart, I think they've even thrown out the idea that he has the highest IQ of any NBA, like just natural intelligence.
Okay.
He's got great basketball IQ.
Mm-hmm. Sees the floor
and anticipates well on offense. Doesn't hold the ball. He's a ball mover. Shot some threes early in his career. Has only shot like 22 threes over the last 3 seasons.
That's great.
So I don't think we're getting as much of a floor spacer. But again, for $11 million or $10.25 million a year average for a guy that has an almost near elite skill of rim defending.
Yeah.
I think that's great business, especially when you look at specifically what the Spurs needed.
Someone sitting there pounding the
a
rim.
7'1" old school big man, banger,
that
and
can
a
sit
guy
there and see the people at the top of the key. See, like
a guy that's not going to force things and is also not going to be a stop down on offense. He's going to keep the ball moving.
Reminds me of who was the other Frenchie for the Spurs?
Which one, Diaw?
Diaw.
Yeah. Diaw, I mean, he's not nearly. Let's not get crazy. He's a 7'1" white man. He moves quite differently than Boris.
Boris was a point guard at one time.
That's correct. Yeah, Boris was a 6'8", early, oversized point guard.
He was down there in the paint, but late in his
career,
late in his career, his eye, because he put on all that weight from the Whataburger.
That's correct.
You know,
which also arguably made him a better player because he was better with the body than he was.
He's just dishing it down.
I mean, Cornette's again. When you look at the overarching Spurs offseason, to get Dylan Harper, Carter Bryant, and Luke Cornett now as your backup big man, that's great business. And the only reason I don't have them on the list for best off seasons is the same reason I don't have Dallas on there, because
who else?
We don't know exactly. Like we think Dylan Harper is going to be awesome, but we don't know. We think Cooper Flagg is going to be awesome, but we don't know.
Anything.
Removing the draft picks and just looking at the signings, Luke Cornett is a solid signing
because he's a veteran.
Yeah, but it's nothing that, I mean, it's not. He's not the missing piece.
It sounds like he's also going to be able to be in the ear of the young kids. If he's,
I think he's a great example. Yeah,
as smart as that. We're not signing Chris Paul. So therefore, we have another veteran to be like, look, this guy was open at the top of the key. If you throw it down to me over here, I can pitch it out over here, and you can swing it around the horn.
I think I think you are spot on with that, because look at the way his Boston Celtics teammates talked about him the whole time he was in Boston. It was exactly that. It was Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum developing like Cornette. Let's not over.
Yeah,
let's not over.
It wasn't an all-star developing another all-star. Yeah.
But he's a voice. He's a guy that those young guys constantly mentioned as a one of the good teacher, a guy that could, like you were saying, could point out to a young guard, like, when I get the ball right here, this cut is going to be open. So, reposition on the opposite side.
This guy's pulling this defender, so you got to be able to make this.
And he's
cut.
that kind of smart. Yeah. So he's a very Spurs signing. Like it just fits
baby,
the
45 wins.
It fits the
45 wins.
Let me see if Vegas. Let's see if Vegas might be giving them 55 wins now with the Luke Cornette side. No, I'm kidding. Right. No, I don't. I think still clearly the Spurs are keeping the powder dry for that next big move. But Cornette fills the need and definitely makes them way more interesting at that bottom end of the Western playoff teams.
I'm glad we filled a hole in there.
Aren't we all? On that note, quickly, best offseason I had Denver, Houston. We've talked about them. Denver with the Michael Porter Jr. trade to Brooklyn.
Man, that's what I wanted, man.
What the hell? No, you don't want Michael Porter Jr.
I don't.
He's, again, excellent 2K player, but I don't think you want him at the number he's on. I mean, the Denver got Cam Johnson for $17 million cheaper than Michael Porter Jr. And I think I kind of think Cam is a better fit for what they need right now on that roster. But Denver does the trade, gets Cam Johnson, and then also gets Valanciunas in a trade from Sacramento, and brings back a fan favorite Bruce Brown as well. So Denver took Oklahoma City to 7 games. Denver gave Oklahoma City the second best series of any team.
Yeah.
Denver still has the best player on the planet. You could say last year, with what Michael Porter Jr. wasn't giving them and what they didn't have coming off the bench, they needed 2 more guys, and I kind of think they got them.
They're trying to do a little twin tower action, dude.
Yeah, well, and with Jokic, I mean,
we all saw Jamal. He's not the Jamal. Right. He's not the championship Jamal.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, Denver is still, I think, clearly third best going into the season, third best in the West. We talked about Houston. I think they probably overall had the best offseason so far. Threw Orlando in there because of the Orlando needed shooting, and they got Desmond Bane. They've made a couple other moves that have, again, the East, we didn't mention them.
Oh, yeah, Orlando.
The East being as wide open as it is, Orlando sees that. They pull the trigger. We always think
Orlando's going to be like a Charlotte.
Yeah, I don't think you can think about that much. We used to think about that with Detroit, too. Yeah. And I think the days of Detroit and Orlando not being lumped into that second tier in the East are over. Who else did they got? They got Bane. Oh, and they signed Tyus Jones as well. Yeah. So you get a little point guard help there. And then I had Atlanta. Unfortunately,
they stocked up on the draft, and
it sucks because the Spurs still have that second Atlanta pick, which is looking worse and worse now because Atlanta goes out.
Who else do we need, man? But more bench.
Well, it's more ammunition. I mean, just in general. Or Atlanta goes out. They do the Porzingis trade, bring him in for practically nothing. Sign Luke Kennard to a 1-year deal, $11 million, I think it was. Good shooting. And then they steal Alexander Walker from Minnesota because once Minnesota did the Naz Reid and Julius Reed deals, that pretty much was the writing on the wall. Alexander Walker was going to leave.
They're maxed out.
So Atlanta, I think, with the position they were in, it's kind of the season for Trae Young to. Like, dude, if you're gonna win 2 playoffs, very much so. You know what I'm saying?
You've been chirping for the last 2 years like you won out.
Now
you got your people. Let's see what you can do.
Now, if Porzingis misses 60 games, again, I give Trae Young a little bit of leniency there. Worst offseason, I would say right now, we've talked the Pelicans to death. We can leave that be because they had the worst offseason with just the trade they did on draft night alone. The Lakers now with their turmoil, not exactly sure. The Heat, who have been The Heat were in the KD conversations, didn't want to offer their guys.
What about Phoenix? Sorry, Lonnie.
I think Phoenix has actually done considerably well for the position they found. They made so many bad decisions to put themselves in this position.
Do they still have Beasley?
Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal.
I think they're going to have Bradley Beal, also
they can't get rid of him.
I mean, it's the worst contract, second worst contract in the league, probably. That's potentially behind Embiid's, just because Embiid you can't play him. And then the Kings continue to just be a team like giving Dennis Schroeder 3 years, $45 million. What are we doing?
They got to give money to someone. They're like, we got to act like we're spending money.
But you don't have to.
You don't have to.
Because the problem now is you've committed $15 million a season for the next 3 years to Dennis Schroeder.
But they're sitting there trying to sell season ticket holders like, hey, we have a shot this year.
Look, light the beam forever. But if I'm a Sacramento citizen, Dennis Schroeder on a 3-year deal doesn't get me to run out and buy tickets. That's not doing much.
That beam is going to be permanently turned off sooner or later.
And then we're getting close. And then Bucks Pacers I had as a combo because the Pacers are going to do a gap year, but losing Miles Turner when you gave Nembhard the extension last year, and now you're in a position where if you had re-signed Turner, you would have been in the tax in a year where Halliburton, I think they mismanaged their books.
Yeah. Well, they didn't expect Halliburton to go down.
Of course. And I think that's
the worst.
But they still would have been in I think they would have, if Halliburton hadn't gotten injured, I think they would have re-signed Miles Turner and paid the luxury tax. But now they're like, well, this is kind of our off-ramp.
Yeah.
And then finally I had Brooklyn because Brooklyn could have had upwards of $70 to $90 million in cap space. They are the only team that could have offered a max contract to a free. Granted, there's no free agents that are worthy of a max contract, but Brooklyn, before they did the trades on draft night to assume Mann's deal, and now Michael Porter Jr., they could have offered Josh Giddey an offer sheet. They could have offered Santi Aldama an offer sheet that would have made the Grizzlies' life really difficult to match.
Yeah.
They could have been the kings of the market. Yeah. They could have been the team that held all the cards, but instead you now have Michael Porter Jr. and Terrence Mann and 5 first-round draft picks that you made in this draft where you drafted 2 point guards. Like Brooklyn is quickly becoming the what the hell are we doing team.
Yeah,
like it doesn't make any sense.
Who's running this?
It's not the Russian anymore, but
not the Russians.
Apparently it's not anyone much better. Well, that I keep saying it. I think until we get news of a LeBron trade, that should be our last NBA segment for a while. So
we'll be talking the NFLs.
Yeah, starting Monday, we'll be doing our NFL divisional previews. So put a bow on the NBA for now. I think before
if there's something good, we might hit it in the lightning round.
Hit it, LG. I still think we might get some NBA
caught
news.
him off guard.
I like it. I think we might get some NBA news before.
Right, here's one to all the Ohtani slurpers. Oh, he reached 101 miles per hour.
I think it was actually 102.
It was 101.7. Yes.
Which rounds up.
No, we don't round in baseball.
Well, we don't call it 101. If it's 101.7. No, it's...
See, that's a slurper.
It's either
slurper,
no,
man.
I'm sorry.
What is that, Dodger Blue?
A slurper because we're seeing a guy hit 30 home runs before the All-Star break and throw 100.
His arm already broke down.
And throw 101.7 miles per hour.
Has he reached 30? He hasn't reached 30.
Yeah, he just did tonight. Last night, whatever. I think it was.
Whatever.
I think it was last night, yeah.
No one needs, hey, man, he bet on baseball. Bet on baseball.
Why, is it just the Yankees-Dodgers rivalry? Because he's only been a Dodger for 2 years. Did you hate Ohtani like this when he was on the Helpless Angels?
No.
Okay, so it is just Dodgers related. Okay, that's ridiculous.
The fact that you went to a team that was already stacked with MVPs.
This is the equivalent.
Who has Mookie Betts coming from what team?
Boston.
Hate that.
Yeah.
Freeman, don't mind him, but he's really, really good.
Atlanta.
He's an MVP here.
Yeah, came from Atlanta.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You have anything against the Braves? You hate TBS? You hate Ted Turner?
No, man.
Okay.
I actually loved Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux back in the day. You know, they were our little whipping boys.
What about What about Smoltz?
Smoltz was
John
a good.
Smoltz.
Yeah, he threw some high and tighters. He bow tied some
No,
people.
look. I understand. I think the biggest story that got swept under the rug is the gambling aspect of it.
The gambling killed me.
I feel about Ohtani the same way I felt about I never hated Kobe because he was great. Because of I very, very rarely are there players that I
hated playing them.
Sure.
I hated playing against them.
I hated the Lakers.
I hated the
But Kobe the player, I turned the TV on to watch that.
Yeah.
I turned the TV on to watch Ohtani. So I don't like the Dodgers.
Ohtani and all the other greatness that's on the team. They also have
But Ohtani is so different than the
Cy
rest
Young
of those guys. Ohtani is different from anyone we've seen since Babe Ruth, man.
The Yankees are the evil empire. Different. The evil empire.
No, that's in LA now.
No.
They're the evil empire
now we don't get the same hate that we have for the Yankees.
So you're missing the hate.
No, I'm the fact of why is Dodgers getting all the love? Why is there so many slurpers out there, giving this man all the love and being like, oh, Ohtani's so great. He basically LeBron'd over to Miami.
Sure. Yeah.
No,
and guess what?
Didn't we hate on LeBron for that?
Yeah, but
But we don't do it for Ohtani, who gambled on baseball?
You know what I like to do?
The old school journalists who bagged on Pete Rose?
I like to watch the best athletes play their sport. I hated LeBron doing the decision with a live ESPN broadcast to announce he's taking his talents to South Beach. But guess what? Those alley-oops with LeBron and D-Wade, it was awesome to watch. Amazing. I hated it. Hit me, LG.
I'm ready to plow.
We got to get into this. I mentioned it earlier. We had murder on the north side.
Dude, I just saw that yesterday.
How did McManus phrase it? High-profile murder.
It's murder.
Yeah, the Ron Acosta, the founder of Las Palapas, stabbed to death by what turns out to be his 39-year-old nephew, who, LG, you were giving me some details earlier. I know you're up to speed. Correct me if I leave anything out. So, 39-year-old nephew, David Ruiz, drives from California to San Antonio. Ruiz's dad in California is saying his son is having a mental breakdown
because of meth.
Hasn't slept for 4 days.
Meth.
That one checks out. Has been having hallucinations.
Meth.
Has been telling people that someone's out to kill him.
Meth.
Has been telling people his dad's already dead.
Meth.
And then apparently made contact with Ron Acosta's son, which would be his cousin, said, come to Texas, come stay with me.
Yeah.
And for what somehow we get from there.
How old is his son? Is what I want to know.
I think they're about the same age.
Like mid-20s?
No, I think a little older, I believe. I think this closer to the same age as Ruiz.
Because
Ruiz
they supposedly got in a fight, and they just I'm like, because the dad probably was like, this guy is high as a kite. What is he doing here in my house?
Yeah, there's so many. I think we're gonna get more details that explain it.
Oh, he was
because it does, but it doesn't. When you know that you see that. So if you're them, it doesn't sound like it was from the way it's being reported right now. It sounded like it was good, and then he snapped. It wasn't like he was tweaked out when he walked in kind of deal or anything like that.
Well, that's what meth will do to you. You freak out. You freak out, man.
Trust me, I've got.
Do you ever remember that old?
I've got cousins on the federal payroll in federal housing in Louisiana right now.
My family's from Oklahoma. We know
that clears too.
We know about them little backwoods.
North Texas, basically southern Oklahoma.
Yeah, so it's when you up for high, like I may or may not have had a friend who had a whole apartment locked down because he was high on meth and speed for 4 days and said pirates are going to come and kill me because they think I have their gold and says I have a hostage.
Look,
I have a hostage. So they shut the whole building down of this apartment complex, and there was nobody in there.
Of course not.
And then his rich daddy sits there and be like, "Oh, it was that he was just on Ambien," and gets off from the whole thing. And minus, this is the guy who's also drove through a hotel building on a work trip for Wyndham or something like that, or his own company. Like
nothing is funny about addiction.
No, nothing is funny, but like,
hold on.
Until it's funny.
Nothing is funny about the actual addiction. But some of the things that meth heads end up doing in the throes of addiction.
Why do you think Breaking Bad was so good?
I mean, like.
Oh, Pinkman, why are you digging this hole?
What do you expect me to do?
Hole?
Not laugh?
Well, I'm just digging this hole.
Like, you think pirates
dig this hole?
are about to storm your apartment building? That's funny. That's funny. I gotta laugh.
And we know this dude, like he was a good friend, and like he's
they
like
all
one of my
are
friends.
until meth.
And he's like, but he was an habitual line stepper, but you know, there was also this
like those guys.
This infomercial where it was like, meth, I got the cleanest house on the block, meth. And they played this like right at school peak cartoon time. And it was like right when this is total like late 80s, early 90s. I got the bugs crawling all over my skin, meth. And there's this lady freaking out, hallucinating, getting all these like little scratch marks like they have on their arms and stuff. And it's all meth. It's like, don't do meth, kids.
Look, there's a lot of drugs like.
LG, if you do a deep dive and find that commercial for me, I'll love you forever.
There's a lot of drugs like when you see someone smoking weed in a movie, it looks cool. Like if you're a kid, when you're a kid, you see someone doing lines and partying, man. Like it looks cool.
Yeah. No.
Very few times has meth ever looked cool. Like it's trashed from the beginning to the end, wherever that takes you. Like it's
if you want to go on that journey.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that is a good one. Hit me, LG. Oh, indeed. Come on now, Spurs. We're going to save the Keith Hernandez and Phil Mickelson audio because we can do that on Monday in the lightning round. Quick soccer update. We mentioned at the top of the show, U.S. survives 2-1 against Guatemala. Right now, Mexico is staring at a scoreless first half against Honduras.
I told you this wasn't going to be a gimme.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've gotten to see a USA-Mexico final because the USA has been falling short as Canada had kind of passed them in the pecking order, at least in some ways, here in CONCACAF. But second half ahead for Mexico now, 0-0 still against Honduras. And then Club World Cup, man, it wasn't last night. I guess it was Monday night. When Al Hilal, the Saudi Arabian team, that match against Man City, that's unfortunate. That match against Man City.
But it's not racist if it's a drop?
No, it's unfortunate.
Hit me, LG.
Well, that wasn't a drop. Okay, yeah, let's go. That was a drop. It's unfortunate I laughed.
You stole my thunder.
Yeah, give him time. That match was awesome. I mean, Man City ends up losing it. It's a great stepping stone for the Saudi Arabian League, but the back and forth and that's the best match of the Club World Cup we've seen yet, as it kind of starts to round into its final stages. We're actually getting
Houston's getting that game, the final.
Yeah, the final.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, quarters we got Fluminense versus Al Hilal, then Palmeiras versus Chelsea, PSG Bayern, which is really, like, Chelsea should be in this final if they can just beat a couple Brazilian clubs. But Bayern, PSG, and then Dortmund, Real Madrid on the other side of the bracket. And we will close out. Hit me one more time, LG.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
There's an old commercial for you. We'll close out with some Dallas news here. Stars hire a new head coach, Glenn Gulletson. Retread hire. He was their head coach from like 2011 to 2013.
Old-time hockey?
Yeah, it's not too inspiring, but I will say Do you remember how dangerous that Edmonton Oilers power play has been the last 3 years?
Sure.
Let's answer yes.
Yes.
Exactly, because Glenn Gulletson has been their power play coach in Edmonton, so maybe that'll help. But Stars have been doing some other good bit. Jamie Benn resigns 1 year, $1 million, takes a cheap deal. But the other Dallas news that came out, LG, you have this trailer?
Oh, my God. I was like, man, don't ruin it.
Listen, you're about to get an opportunity where you and I are on the same page. Just
we're on the same page. Dallas Cowboys suck.
No,
They suck.
I'm sorry. Which has your team been to a Super Bowl more recently than the Cowboys, or won a Super? I'm sorry. Has your team won a Super Bowl?
Just keep that picture of that confidence right there. That smirky Dallas face confidence.
LG, play the clip.
I love that crap.
Play
dude.
the clip.
Love that.
That's
crap.
the most Dallas thing I've maybe ever done.
It's never paved smoothly. It's always paved with peaks and valleys.
This is a soap opera 365 days a year.
No, it should be a flipping
Texas is
football
football
team.
country.
365
The whole in Texas
days.
Stadium so God could watch his favorite team.
The
Cowboys.
Oh, thank you, W. The Cowboys.
When I
Clear
bought
that
the
up.
team, I was Darth Vader.
Dallas fans aren't happy.
Last year, they were 1-15.
I said, Dad, I don't know anything about running a football team. And he looked me in the eye and he said,
First off,
neither do
Al
I.
Michaels started.
We were gambling my family's whole fortune, so I had to take risks. And it
LG,
started with
pause it
Jimmy
real quick.
Johnson.
So Charlotte, that's Charlotte Britches, his daughter, talking about, I told Daddy, I don't know a thing about running a football team. And he looked me in my eye and said, I don't either. What the hell are we doing here? Play it.
Asthma, Mike. Get over there on that other field and have some asthma.
Now, I do love that clip. The
We made
asthma field.
practice hell, so the game is heaven. We were ready.
All of a sudden, it was a runaway train.
Oh, baby.
Everywhere
Okay.
we went, they were icons.
We played hard, and then we played hard.
With
Okay.
that success,
The White House.
you also get disruption.
Police officer came to me.
And they pulled the gun. Open the door right now.
Jerry is that disruptor, that innovator.
You're not much of a gambler unless you're going against the popular trend.
No one ever thought Jerry had the guts to fire Jimmy.
You don't know half the stuff that was happening.
Playing for the Cowboys is different.
The most valuable sports franchise in the world.
No matter what they say, they can't prepare you. You just got to experience it.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about this, Cowboys?
We do it our way, baby.
Look, I can't help it. The goosebumps are real. I can't help it. I'm an addict waiting for the fix.
We done? We done with that?
No. We're going to go another hour to make up for Monday.
Oh, man.
Look.
That's a great documentary that's been done 18 times.
Of course it has. And guess what? I watched 18
Still,
of them.
still talking about Jimmy.
And I'm about to talk. I'm
Still
about to watch
talking
the
about Jimmy.
19th one of them. If they actually do talk more about the White House and the off the field and
They're going to, who's got the final rights of the say in this?
Jerry.
How much do you think they're going to talk about it?
enough where he won't catch blowback for not talking about it, but
Yeah.
not nearly enough to actually hold my interest.
I want to watch him going at the producers and the director of this thing. Like, I don't know if you watched the Pee-wee.
Oh, yeah, the Pee-wee documentary.
The
That was
Pee-wee
great.
documentary where
Yeah,
Pee-wee
yeah.
was like, I want to direct my own documentary.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you can't do that. Well, they didn't have the same, that director didn't have the same balls as that documentarian. There you go.
Documentary filmmaker.
Documentary
that too.
filmmaker as this person, because I guarantee you he just gobbled Jerry's nuts the whole time.
Oh, I think that's and they're also paying him. Well, it was like $50 million or something stupid for the
Yeah.
rights to do this. So yeah, it's going to be all of that. But guess what, buddy? It's the Cowboys, and I'll be watching.
smiles, and glory holes.
We will report vigorously
hey, guess
on
what?
hopefully how bad it is.
I'll watch it.
I really hope
and
it's
be
terrible.
like, I'll give it from 1 to 5 pukes.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I was gonna say from 1 to 5 farts. So yeah, we'll take.
No, I threw up in my mouth a little bit watching the trailer, dude. So
Look, I think
it's already got half a puke.
Yeah, you're already
It's already half a puke in, man.
The gag reflex is already hitting. Well, on that note, hopefully this episode wasn't half a puke's worth of content. LG, start the music. Let's get out of here to Friday. Who Won the Internet returning with the roommate.
The return.
And then, again, new shows or Monday, Wednesday, Friday shows starting next week. And we will be kicking off our NFL division previews. If you want to follow along on social, find me on X at Biggest Puma, Instagram, biggest.puma.
The Captain 210 on Instagram. Still working on that TikTok.
Keep watching out for LG's streams. I know he has been busy as hell putting out content as well.
Content.
Appreciate all of y'all's support. Appreciate you riding along
Happy
as
4th
we
of July.
start another month till we talk again. See y'all Monday. Be good. Be safe. Peace.
Kids, what do we say about drugs?
Only thugs use drugs. Say no to drugs.
Yeah!